There's a world within you, moving images, dreams, and fantasies that aren't mere illusions. They are energy, manifestations of your mind. Everything you now experience began as a fantasy. The spiritual truth is that your inner world has power. Those who remain unshaken in the face of disaster aren't lucky. They've simply stopped letting the external world define who they are. Most people still react to life unconsciously. One ignored message, one insult, or one silent rejection can collapse your energy. But the world isn't attacking you. It's exposing your unhealed wounds. This means that unless you heal the parts of you still affected by the past, you'll remain at the mercy of life.
But when you observe yourself within, you see moving images, a world of images, generally known as fantasies. Yet these fantasies are facts. Everything you do here, all of the others, everything was fantasy to begin with. And fantasy has a proper reality. That is not to be forgotten. Fantasy is not nothing. It is, say, a form of energy. Despite the fact we can't measure it, it is a manifestation of something. And that is a reality.
Nothing affects you unless it finds something inside you to stick to. And when it sticks, it owns you. Life keeps poking your bruises until you stop leaking energy into the past, the future, or systems and people that do not serve you. The goal is not to fight the world, but to understand it. You don't need to become someone new. You need to uncover who you were before the programming began. From childhood, you've been wired to react. Patterns of emotion formed in your nervous system based on early experiences. Crying for food, throwing tantrums for attention. As you grew, you absorbed your family's and society's emotional patterns. These formed automatic responses: fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. These reactions once helped you survive, but now they can trap you in cycles of pain. An insult today might trigger deep rage, not because of what was said, but because it landed on an old emotional wound. When someone ignores your message, it may lead to spiraling self-doubt, not because of the silence, but because your self-worth is still attached to being seen. You're not reacting to reality. You're reacting to meaning your mind assigned to it. Every emotional hijack starts with an internal wound, but once you see it clearly, you can break the cycle. The truth is, no event has meaning until your brain assigns it one. Your reactions aren't who you are. They're patterns you learned, and anything learned can be unlearned. Start with awareness. Observe what triggers you: words, tones, environments. Pay attention to your body: tightness, heaviness, tension. Ask yourself, what does this reaction remind me of? Often you're not just reacting to the present, but to years of similar past experiences. The goal isn't to suppress your emotions. They're valid, but it's time to create space between trigger and reaction. That tiny pause gives you power to choose your response instead of being controlled by your programming. This is where true freedom begins. Imagine your mind as a mirror. If the mirror is warped or dirty with old beliefs, it reflects a distorted reality. If it shows a hostile world, you'll live in fear. If it shows a safe world, you'll feel peace. Here's the powerful part. You can clean that mirror. Energy isn't something that just happens to you. It's something you generate. If you believe you're tired, your body will follow. If you believe you're energized, your biology responds. Your beliefs shape your chemical reality. This isn't about faking positivity. It's about shifting perception. A dusty mirror tells you you're exhausted when you might just be bored or uninspired. Most of your stress isn't caused by events, but by the story your mirror tells about them. A deadline can be a threat or an opportunity. The same situation, seen differently, creates a different energy. When energy drops, ask, what story is my mind telling me right now? You can't force energy, just like you can't force a mirror to show a different image. But you can change the angle of reflection. Clean your mirror by questioning long-held beliefs. Why do I always feel drained at work? Why do mornings feel impossible? Often, these aren't truths, they're habits of perception. As you shift your reflection, others respond differently to you. Energy reflects energy. If you radiate exhaustion, people treat you accordingly. If you radiate confidence, they rise to meet you. This creates a feedback loop. either reinforcing your old self or empowering a new one. You're not here to force yourself to change. You're here to see clearly. And when the mirror is clean, you don't just react, you respond. That's real transformation. In a world dominated by noise, distractions, and digital overload, the path back to our true nature begins with reconnection. To the earth, to ourselves, and to the quiet truths we've long ignored. When you put your bare feet on the ground, you're not just touching the earth, you're releasing electronic noise and returning to balance. Sunlight isn't only for vitamin D, it activates your mood and revitalizes your cells. Nature in its simplicity offers healing and harmony no machine can match. All it asks is that you pause, breathe, feel, and remember who you are beneath the layers. This remembrance fuels sovereignty, the power to own your life, choices, and energy. It starts with radical self-honesty. You must look at your patterns, your triggers, and the ways you unconsciously give away your power through blame, victimhood, or fear. Sovereignty is about choosing responsibility not as a burden, but as liberation. Build daily rituals that nourish your inner strength. Protect your time, say no to energy drains, and invest in relationships that uplift rather than control you. Sovereignty doesn't mean isolation. It means engaging from a place of wholeness where your worth isn't negotiated. Once you reclaim your mind, you begin to rewire it. Your brain is a supercomputer shaped by habit. What you repeat becomes your reality. But the good news is these patterns can change. Through small, consistent actions, standing tall, focusing deeply, breathing mindfully, you begin to form new neural pathways. Visualization becomes your training ground. Imagine success, calm, strength, and your brain responds as if it's real. Shape your environment to match your goals. Use language that uplifts. Get quality sleep. Reduce stress. These are the tools of mental transformation. With a rewired mind, you can control your most vital resource, energy. Think of each day like a video game. You wake up with a certain energy bar. How you spend it determines how much you grow. Match high-energy tasks to your peak hours. Track what drains or refuels you. Build systems that restore energy, breaks, nature, food, breath. Avoid energy thieves like mindless scrolling and toxic interactions. Optimize your surroundings. Create rules that work for your rhythm. Mastering energy is like leveling up. You become sharper, clearer, more focused. And as your energy strengthens, so does your awareness. You begin to see the illusions you were living in, the routines, beliefs, and systems that kept you asleep. Life isn't about rushing to a job you hate or consuming endlessly. That's the dream they sold you. The truth? You are powerful beyond measure. Your thoughts shape your world. Your focus creates your experience. You are not broken, you're awakening. Question everything. Not to rebel, but to rediscover your freedom. Small steps matter. Change one thought, one habit, one belief. The journey back to your authentic self is the greatest revolution of all. And once you see the truth, you cannot unsee it. You don't need permission to live freely. You already have everything you need. Now just begin. If this message spoke to your soul, it's not by accident. You're on a journey to reclaim your power, awaken your mind, and reconnect with what's real. Don't walk this path alone. Subscribe now to this channel and become part of a growing community of conscious creators, truth seekers, and energy masters. Hit the bell so you never miss a drop of wisdom that can shift your mindset and elevate your energy. Leave a comment below. What part of today's message resonated with you the most? Let's grow together in truth, clarity, and sovereign power. Remember, the journey back to yourself starts with one choice, and you just made it by watching this.